Good day, sir. I'm reporting for learning content for chapter 4, materials management. My name is Delmar D. Sherbo from B84A. For our introduction, business management, their physical asset and service, which are measured by the amount of goods and service produced and the country where they are located. And then manufacturing businesses are engaged in converting raw materials to a format that is that is of greater value and used to the consumer, making society wealthier and creating a better standard of living. Next. Then for our what is materials management? Materials management is the planning, directing, controlling, and coordinating of activities related to materials and inventory requirements. And add and little material cost is the most important element of cost in certain industries. It of body text. For our objectives of materials management, material selection, correct specification of materials and components is determined, and also the materials requirement is agreement with sales program are assessed. Low operating costs, it should endeavor to keep the operating cost low and increase the profit without making any concession in quality. Then next, safety of materials with the true management of materials inbound, outbound, and on stock product will also be safe and secure to thief, damage, and expiration. Then identification with materials management, confusion of order and producer meant will be lessened. Then next, we have here a classification of materials. We have two. The first one is direct materials, and the second one is indirect materials. So the column below, we have here raw materials, work in progress, finished goods. In next page, inventory classification is used to classify resources that have future economic value based on production cycle stage. So we have here first raw materials, component and parts. The next is maintenance, repair, and operating inventories. Then MRO. Then the next is work in progress goods and finished goods and recycled goods, and lastly capital goods. Then the next is construction materials, hard goods, soft goods, and the next is fuel and lubricants, and the next is stationary goods, and lastly we have here primary packing materials. Then next is scope of materials management. So The scope material management is materials planning, and the next is standardization and procurement and purchasing, and then next is quality and control, and then next is packaging, then next is storage, the next is distribution. Then here we have here materials planning. So we have two different materials planning. So first is macro factors. Then the next one is micro factors. Then next for standardization, I mean, the standardization is the formulation, publication, and implementation of guidelines, rules, and specifications to achieve optimum degree of order or uniformity in a given context. Then the next one is specialization are divided and generally into two main categories. So the first one is performance specialization. The conform to known customer requirements such as keeping a room's temperature within a specified range. Then the next one is technical specifications. It expresses the level of performance of the goods, service, or any process of the business. The next is procurement and purchasing. Procurement is the process of acquiring goods and service from preparing to payment. Then the quality control is involved direction and measurements of variance, corrective responses, and critical appraisal. Then the next is we have here packaging. Packaging is adult packaging is used to attract attention, promote, provide barcodes, import and information, and help in utilization bit of body text. Then the next one is storage. The storage is non-transitory, semi-permanent storage of goods or materials with the intention of retrieving them later. Then the distribution. The distribution is the movement of goods and service from source to end user. Then the materials handling, movement of a good within a building or between a building and transportation agency. Then types of materials handling. The number one, manual handling, refers to the use of former workers' hand to move individuals' containers. Then to properly lift any item, workers should observe the following. First is plan your lift. Then the next is position the feet. Then the next is adopt a good posture. Then the next is get a firm grip on the item and keep it close to you. to you. Then the next is lift the load up by using only your leg. Then the lastly, put down and adjust. Then for our materials handling equipment, we have 10 categories. So first is a simple if operation, flexibility, durability, portability, benefits, service, and next is operating cost and style, and the next is suppliers, and the lastly cost. Then for materials handling equipment is used for movement, storage, protection, consumption, and disposal of materials. Then for our transport equipment, we are conveyors. A conveyors is an equipment used to move materials over a fixed path between specific points. Conveyor can move materials within the facility and also for loading of goods to its transportation ducts. So, yeah. Nakita nyo po yun sa picture. Then, next is crones. Crones are used to move materials over variable path, creating a mechanical advantage and beyond human capabilities. Then industrial trucks used to move materials over horizontal path without restriction on the areas covered. Industrial truck provide machinized pick up and deposit of load, elementing manual work. So next is type of forklift. Then the first one is reach truck. Are usually electric power industrial truck. It is used for tall rack for loading and unloading pallets. Reach truck are usually placed on strategic location inside the warehouse. Then this truck is capacity for this truck is 2,500 lbs or 5,500 lbs. Then next is number 2, 3-wheel forklift. So kaya siya nasabing 3-wheel forklift kasi tatlo yung gulong niya. Then mainly used indoors, warehouse, or smooth surface. Used for maneuverability and space. Electric powered. Then this 3-wheel forklift capacity is 3,000 lbs or 5,000 lbs. Then the number 3, 4-wheel forklift. So kaya siya 4 kasi 4 ang gulong. Then a 4-wheel forklift can be electric powered and gasoline. So we have 2 powered, electric and gasoline, and more standable than the 3-wheel forklift usually used in orders. Then this 4-wheel forklift is capacity for this is 3,000 lbs or 80,000 lbs. Then unit load formation equipment. Unit load formation equipment is used to protect materials during transport and storage. Then we have here pallets. Pallets are flat transport structures that support goods while being lifted by a forklift. So we have here the pallet. We have two categories. First is four-way pallet. Then the next is two-way pallet. So you can see the difference. Then the next is pallet box. Resonable container used to unities and protect loose item for fork platform truck handling. Then this storage equipment is used to minimize handling cost and maximize space, such as the racking item. The next is type of racking system. We have 4 categories. The number 1 is drive-through truck. Number 2, drive-in rack. Number 3, flow-through rack. Then number 4, push-back rack. Then the next one is drive-through rack. The drive-through rack is used for FIFO inventory management, allowing a forklift to stock item on one side and retrieve them from the another. Then drive-in rack is designed for last in, last out, or rather LIFO inventory retrieval, allowing forklifts to drive inside. Then the next is flow-through rack. Is flow storage consists of 2 elements, static rack structure and dynamic flow rails. Then the flow rails allow loads to move by gravity from loading end to unloading and allowing inventory control. Then the next is pushback rack, allows for easy LFO, last in first out, inventory and management. And identifications and control equipment. Identification and control equipment are used to coordinate materials flow between facilities and suppliers. An example of these are handheld, arm-mounted or vehicle-mounted data storage and communication device. Then communicates with the house computer via radio frequency or infrared link pala. Variety of input device available, keyboard, bar, code scanner, voice, headset. Thank you for your listening.